What's up, guys? I'm Miguel Antonio, and this is the Live and Create podcast. It's where we interview artists and entrepreneurs about what it means to them to live a great life and create great things. This is the pre-COVID edition. It's a series of interviews I did last fall, and even though it's been about a year and a whole lot of life has happened, I still think there's a ton of value in getting this content out to you and for you guys to hear the stories of these artists and entrepreneurs. On this episode, we have Stephen Ervay. He's one of the directors of Sofar Sounds Kansas City, and he also runs Animal.Budz. We're going to talk a whole lot about that as well. We talk about everything from self-care all the way to what it's like to get drunk at a zoo and why it's beneficial. So hope you guys enjoy it.
The Live and Create podcast.
I want to start out typically with some really serious stuff, though.
Cool.
Okay, so diving in.
Serious.
First question. Yeah, you'll want to take a drink for this one. All right, if pancake and French toast had a fight, who would win?
Great question here. I would have to think the French toast has a little more reinforced structure with the kind of the egg wash it gets before it hits the fryer.
That's true.
The pancake is molded by the fryer. The pancake is nobody before hitting the grill.
That's true, but
but you still got the French toast is still the bread and the egg wash and all these individual things.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a little sturdier, a little more well built.
A lot more substance.
Could stand up to, pour syrup over them both. I think the French toast will take a little while longer to get soggy than the pancakes are going to.
That's true.
A little tougher on the exterior.
I never really considered that
yeah.
in this question.
I think the French toast could probably take a hit a lot better.
Yeah.
Is what
it can
this
take the
is
butter,
all
the
boiling
syrup,
down to. Mm-hmm.
powdered sugar, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So
Exactly. It still holds up.
That's legit.
That's where I'm at right now.
I dig it. I dig it. That makes sense. I never really considered the whole soaking of syrup in this fight. So I've asked this question of a few people, and no one's brought that up.
I think the French toast could just take the punch,
Okay. Not bad.
I think they're just a little tougher.
Right on, man. So tell me, what are you? I know you're up to a lot of things, and so what are some of the main things you're up to in the music arts world?
Yeah, so I've actually toned down a lot on a lot of the things I was doing.
More focusing?
Right now I'm focusing on fine dining productions, booking shows, booking like fun events, cool things to do, and Sofar Sounds,
right
which is also I do through fine dining. So I'm just kind of getting to a spot. I kind of took a little bit off to kind of readjust.
Yeah,
and I'm
I know you're
finally
talking
at
about
like.
that. It's kind of decompress a little bit.
Yeah. I had to take like a few weeks, a few months, honestly, and just kind of like be like, okay, where's my headspace at? But I'm coming back. I'm really excited to get like back at it, and I'm just really excited for all these cool ideas I have for shows and events and Sofars and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to put all this new, like, refreshed energy into those.
So I'm curious too, because I'm coming out of a season about a year and a half. I'm going to move this table too. It keeps popping. Popping the. Hopefully it won't. Oh, I messed up the balance. Oh no. There we go. Cool. But so I'm coming out of a season 2 of just about a year and a half of decompressing. And so what was it? Because I want to come back to the cool ideas for Sofar and fine dining. But for you, before the decompression stage, what were you up to, and what were you up to, and then what drove you to think like, I need to tone some shit back?
Well, my main gig for a while was the editor at Playlist Play, online music publication, where we covered artists from all over the world. We got submissions. We did photo galleries. We would do some cool one-off like video shoots with them. We covered festivals, all kinds of stuff.
Right on.
And through that, we also had a music festival database called Guest List, which I also helped maintain. And that was really fun. I loved it. I loved every part of it, but I was also at a point where that was my job, and so I was getting emails, 100 emails a day. Like, hey, we want you to do this, we want you to do this, we want you to do this.
Like Gmail is actually shutting you down because you're sending too many emails kind of deal?
They're like, you're at your invite cap, please stop. And then I'd be coming home and booking, and it was the same thing, like, hey, book my band, book my band, book my band. So, though I love booking and, the whole press aspect of music, it was at a point where I'm like, okay, I gotta stop doing something, because I'm going insane. Like, I can't have all these people and keep up with all these emails, and do it.
Especially when it's on the phone, just popping up and just.
Oh my gosh, yeah, all the time. And like, I was like, okay, I really love booking, so I'm gonna. We dissolved Playlist Play.
So that's no more.
Playlist Plays no more.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
We dissolved it. It was getting a lot for all of us involved.
Right.
We ran a great operation, and it's awesome, and it's something that we're all still very proud of. It just became a lot for all of us, and it was kind of like a passion project turned job, turned really stressful.
Turned no more passion.
Yeah.
Turned, oh shit.
Yeah,
I
but
gotta
it's
do this
good
again.
because, you know, all of us, Nick and Savannah Howland, all of us involved, we're doing really cool shit now. So
Yeah.
I'm excited
Well,
about it. Like we all had like a weird like summer slumber, but I think all three of us like at this point are ready to like pop back up and like hit the ground running again.
Yeah.
So
at that point, when you realize like I need to step out of guest list, need to step out of playlist play, was it? Did you turn everything off for a minute, or was it just downsizing?
I tried my hardest not to, but that's the way it ended up. You know, things fell through the cracks. You know, I admittedly, you know, I didn't do a good job doing some stuff for a while because I was still trying to, but like I cared 0%. So that, you know what I mean?
I'm
like,
about to lose myself.
yeah,
right now.
I wanted to be like the reliable guy that could be like, you know, like I can help you out, like let me help you, like.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just wasn't wanting to do that for anybody at the time. So it, a few things fell through the cracks, and I learned some lessons about saying no when I should say no.
That's for me. That's a hard one. Sounds like maybe you're in the same boat.
yeah.
I love
Yeah.
saying yes to like, yeah, let's do that,
Yeah.
and then I wonder why I hate my life like
You're
2 months
oh,
later.
Shit, this is like my whole week. You know, like I have something to do every night. It's like shit.
It's like, so I'm gonna sleep between 2
Yeah.
and 4.
You're like, I miss my dog. I miss my bed. It's like I haven't had a home cooked meal in like 4 days.
Living off Taco Bell
Yeah,
as you
right?
walked in with some Taco Bell.
Exactly. I'm like, oh shit.
Like literally, Taco Bell doesn't exist to me unless it's between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
when it
that's the
exists
time.
to me.
That's
it's like,
the time.
oh my god, it sounds
You're
so
like,
good at that
I'm
moment.
heading home. What should I do? Go to Taco Bell.
Exactly.
My bed sounds great, but a taco before bed sounds better.
It sounds way better. A Cool Ranch Dorito taco.
Exactly.
So I'm not even being paid for this. Like that stuff is so good. So in that time, the downspace, what was there something? Was there like one big thing that popped up for you? Was it the saying no thing, or was there something that
You know,
hit you
it was
that-
just, it kind of actually worked out really organically in a sense that I stopped getting as many offers for like touring artists coming through town. So like there was a natural like downswing in like my email traffic.
Right.
Which kind of helped me.
Like, whew.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't wanna,
Which
like-
didn't put a lot of pressure on me to be like, okay, what's this, what's that, what's the other thing?
Yeah.
So like that honestly kind of happens just like so serendipitously and incredibly. It wasn't really hard to just like
That's cool.
stay chill. And I still did like some shows here and there.
Yeah.
And I still did some stuff I'm really proud of and I met some really cool people and did some fun stuff. But for the most part, yeah, I stayed kind of quiet. And I have one Rhino show in October.
Nice.
So like
a little
that's,
more chill
but
for
like my November on is like looking real good. I'm like, okay, this is great.
Yeah, I
This
hear
is
there's a
great.
cool
So,
show coming up in December too. That
Yes, there is.
Some band. I don't know. We might talk about
We
that
might
later.
talk about
but-
that later. But it's cool. It's so everything. I'm starting to get offers back in, which is great because I'm like getting excited again. So
Yeah.
it all worked out really organically, really well. Like I don't know what planet was in what position to make this happen, but it was awesome.
You're
So-
like whenever that retrograde whatever
Yeah.
happens again, I'm
yeah,
pumped,
you're like,
ready.
okay, cool. So yeah, it gave me the perfect amount of time to just like chill and rethink what I wanted to be doing and how to say no better and
Yeah.
really get behind the shows that I do and really do an actual good job like promoting and putting the event on. So it gave me a lot of time to think about that and think about how I want to do it.
That's awesome. Do you have like hard numbers now? Like I can only do this many shows, or is it more just a gut feeling? Like you're
No,
looking at
it's
your
going to be a
calendar?
gut feeling kind of thing. It's
Okay.
going to be, what band is coming, what band is interested in playing on what day of the week even. Like I'm doing a Monday show I'm really excited about.
Nice.
Usually I don't get excited if a band's like, can we play a Monday? I'm like, I don't want to do that, no.
It's awesome
Like,
to
"No,
hear a
thank you."
promoter being excited about a Monday show.
Yeah,
I've
like,
been
I
trying to
gotta-
book Monday shows on my next tour, and I'm like,
Exactly.
anybody want to get excited about
I
a
know,
Monday
so,
show?
like, any open mic I could pop up at, like, come on.
Exactly. Like I will literally play on your back porch. So
Yeah.
I don't get
So I'm
it.
excited about that, and It's cool. I'm just gonna kind of play it by my gut feeling. Like if the band really excites me, or if there's some aspect I could pull into the event to make it that much more of an event.
Yeah.
A little more special. I'm looking for those opportunities all over the place right now.
That's awesome.
To really
man.
just like boost the value of going to see shows. So it's kind of hard to get people to see shows sometimes.
Especially on a Monday
like,
night.
What can especially on a
Yeah.
Monday night,
It's like,
right?
come on, guys.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's a great band. It's
Yeah.
great artists, whatever. Bringing them in.
It's gonna be over by 10 o'clock. It's gonna be great. Get to the
Because
game.
people are like, I got to get to work, man.
It's like, you're going to stay awake until 11:30 midnight on Twitter anyway. Like, come to the show until 10 at least.
And that is speaking the truth right there. Like, I get up at 4:30 when I'm not on the road,
Yeah.
and I still stay up till like 11 midnight, like Netflixing, if I can. Sometimes my body's just like, nah,
Sometimes your
fuck
body's
you,
like,
go to
tonight's
sleep.
the night you need to sleep.
Exactly. So now we're doing Fine Dining Productions,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And deep into Sofar, which Sofar is amazing. I'm almost like a herald of Sofar.
Yeah.
So many different artists I meet, they're like, "What is this?" Even last Sunday, I met another artist, and he was talking about wanting to tour, and I'm like, "Dude, you have to check this out. I can't believe you haven't heard about this." But what's cool about Sofar, what's cool about you, is it seems to be all about elevating the artist, elevating an artist that has not been heard of before.
Yeah.
So it's not just about bringing in a big artist making a bunch of money.
Right.
There's this idea of I guess pushing art out there
Yeah.
and getting it in front of people. So for you, where did that start for you? Where did that passion start for you?
Oof. Sounds so cheesy. I like really found like a home in like going to shows when I was younger.
Okay.
I had some friends in high school that like played in like a really good band, and they're just like 15, 16 years old, and the band was like really good, and it was like what I was listening to. It was like what was on the radio and stuff. So like I started going to their shows, and I would be like I would go to see them, and it would be a 4-band bill. I'm like, well, these other 3 bands are really cool. Like I would start going to their shows.
Nice.
And so I started finding like just that's what I wanted to do. Like every night that my parents would let me leave, like I'd be like, I want to go to this show. Like I want to go.
Even Monday
see
nights,
this.
right?
Yeah. Sometimes they're like, well, how's your homework coming? I'm like, it's fine.
It's awesome, Mom. Let me go.
It's great. Can I leave now? Maybe excused from dinner. Thank you.
So how old are you at this time?
16, able to drive myself.
Nice.
And back then, like in Kansas City, there's a lot of younger bands back then. And I mean, that's the world. Maybe there is now. I just don't know about it. You know what I mean? Because that's like the world I was in. It's just like all these like younger people, like up to like 19 years old, like 20, and like all these fun like pop rock, punk pop, or pop punk. Like we used to go to like a lot of metal and hardcore shows.
Nice.
There's awesome, and like all these
That's
spaces were
perfect
like
for
all
16,
ages.
right.
Yeah. They're like in church basements and like neighborhood clubhouses. Like I went to a show at the Coves Clubhouse once.
Really?
And, like, Gashland Church
Death
on
metal
North
at the Coves, right?
It was wild.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was awesome. It's my
they're
favorite.
not playing around.
My favorite local band ever to this day is called
What band?
Coronado Left for Dead. And it's just
Coronado Left for Dead.
some local. It's just like a local band.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite local band that ever. I just love them. And
So you found a home in the music, found a
yeah,
home in
just
the
just
people
the
that were there
experience
too?
really, just
Yeah.
being there. And I would always go with like I had a few friends that would always go with me. Usually my best friend Colin would go, but I had a few other people. If Colin was out, like a few other people would go, and I just loved being there and just like being in a dark room with like all these people that are also there for the exact same reason you are.
Yeah.
Like you don't know them. I don't know any of these people. I recognize him from the show I was at last week. I recognize this guy from the last like 14 shows I went to. Like I don't know any of these people, but we're all here because like we just want to listen to this music.
Right. It's the unifying piece.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like a quiet, like unspoken, like camaraderie, and I just love that. And so I just like really love fostering that feeling still. Hopefully, like that's always my goal is to just like create a moment where everyone, like nobody in the room knows each other, but like they all appreciate each other and like respect each other, and like take notice and understand each other. And it's just like because we're all here to see like some guy in an acoustic guitar. Like I don't know.
So
I just
kinda-
love
so
that
for you,
feeling
it's
of like
bringing that-
belonging kind of thing.
Right on.
Yeah. It sounds cheesy, but I think that's like really what it is. It's
Yeah,
just
I don't
like,
think it sounds cheesy. It sounds legit, man.
Yeah.
Like there is a community. I think when I think of Sofar, that's the vibe. I've only been to a few, but like that's the vibe of it.
Yeah,
It's
and that's
like-
what we try to bring in. I mean, Sofar is it's a total listening room vibe, and we have an incredible Sofar Kansas City. We have an incredible MC, Tevin Williams, and
he can actually
he does
hype it
like
up.
he's like the most charismatic human I've ever met. Like nobody has more charisma than Tevin, and he does like such a good job though. Like even like set like the rules, the stuff that doesn't sound fun. Like he does such a good job like hopping up. Like hey, you get stoked. We're all excited.
Yeah.
Also, please follow these rules. And one of those is like, you can have your phone out. You can be taking video of the artist. You can be just tag us, but also just respect everyone around you, because we're all here to like experience music.
Right. Don't film the whole show with
Yeah.
an iPad.
Yeah, it's like, but we're all here to like experience music, so don't talk. Let people be in the moment. And it's he does such a good job setting that vibe. But like that's exactly it. That's like what I love. That's like when you hear like, I mean, there's been artists we've put on Sofars that I've seen in a club 10 times, and they play at a Sofar, and I'm like, wow, like this is mind blowing. I've seen you perform countless times, but this is like blowing my mind right now, just because it is that
closer, intimate.
It is. It's closer.
Kind of
It's
vibe.
smaller. It's the artist. I don't know. Maybe feeds off of like how quiet and attentive the room actually is. Like it's like, oh, these people actually are paying attention to my art.
Right.
So it's just.
Well, it's cool to hear that being the goal for you. I think.
Yeah.
For my following, there's a great number of artists in there too, and I have a lot of artists asking me questions, and so. Like my hope is like artists can hear that too. It's like it's not about you necessarily when you're coming to the show.
Yeah.
It's like the people who are putting it together, they want to create experience for everyone. So dive into that, lean into that, and I dig that, man.
Yeah, we always, we kind of send an email and it's like our advance, like when we're telling like, hey, this is what time you need to show up, like this is what time your set is and stuff. We always say like, any crowd participation, like it's not necessary, but like if there's something that makes sense, like do it, like go for it. Like that stuff goes off without a hitch, like every time.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's just, we've done some really cool events that I think our whole team is really proud of, and it's fun.
Oh yeah.
We're all just
and a
doing
lot
it
of good
for
stuff
fun.
along the way.
Yeah.
On the way for you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
No doubt.
we've started delving into a lot more partnerships, which is cool. We partnered with Don't Tell Comedy pretty recently.
I don't think I'm familiar with them.
They're essentially what Sofar is, but for comedians.
Really?
Yeah. So like,
I had no
pop
idea
up,
that Don't
like,
Tell
secret.
Comedy.
You don't know who's like doing stand up, like, but it's a couple
Really?
stand up artists. Like you show up and it's like, bam, here they are.
I'm super into
So,
comedy, man. Like Anthony Jeselnik, John Mulaney, like all so to hear like the chance to actually see someone who may be that in 5-6 years in an environment, that sounds really
It's
cool.
cool. It's something like I'm not like too into like the stand up world, but here at the Rhino, where I book shows, we also do a ton of comedy events.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
my
something
wife
that like
and I
I'm always
came
around.
to check it out. It's really cool.
Yeah. We have some great people booking great comedians around here, and it's awesome. But yeah, we so like one so far, our MC couldn't make it. He had like a date conflict. He does like he's a musician too, an artist, and
I
so
didn't
he
realize
does.
he was a
Yeah,
musician.
Tevin, he's an incredible singer. He's just
Right on.
great voice, and he does like a lot of wedding gigs and stuff.
Okay.
So he had like a wedding or something that night, so he couldn't MC the show. So we hit up Aaron Scarborough, a local comedian who books comedy here at the Rhino.
Right on.
We hit him up to MC, and we were like, yeah, man, like throw in, like do some jokes, like promote yourself. Like,
Yeah. He's like, this is
thanks
your
for
opportunity,
working
man.
for
You're in
us,
front
but
of us.
also like you're in front of all these people, like do your thing. And I was unable to make the event because I was at Jazoo. My friend got free tickets. So
Jazoo.
I was getting drunk at the zoo.
Oh my God. That was a great night.
You know how
That's
much
when
I
I
love-
discovered so many great extra things about you.
Yeah. No, that was Wine Walk.
Oh wait, this is
I've been
different.
drunk at the zoo several times this year. So
That's your thing,
this is
getting
different.
drunk at the zoo, and like who doesn't like that?
Oh my gosh, it was great. But I was at Disney, so I had to miss the event. But everyone said it went off incredibly. They said Aaron did a good job, and so I was like, why don't we do more comedy then?
Yeah.
And so we partnered with this Don't Tell, and so as far as like Sofar patrons were concerned, they were coming to a Sofar show, which is typically 3 musicians.
Right.
And then when they got there, we were like, hey, we have 2 MCs tonight. It's Tevin and this other guy that you don't know. He's a
killer. I
comedian.
love it, man.
Yeah, and so we booked 2 artists and 2 comedians on that show, and we traded them off. We had
That's a cool night.
like a short little MCs. I kind of went back and forth, did a cute little banter, and then
Their
we
cute
had
little
like,
whatever
we had,
comedy thing. I don't know.
we had a stand-up act, and then a musician, and then a stand-up act, and then we closed the night with music, and it was awesome.
That is a
and
cool
It was
show.
so cool. Yeah, that was like fun to like get to tell our audience, our Sofar audience, like, hey, if you liked this, there's literally Sofar for comedians called Don't Tell. Like, go check it out.
And that's nationwide.
I think so. I don't know too much about it. I know like there is a local Kansas City chapter, like there is a local Kansas City Sofar.
Yeah.
And they were great to work with. So I was like, hey, I have this idea. And they were like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool.
Seems like comedians, whenever it's like, someone's giving me a mic and they want me to talk, let's do this shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it was great. I was like, I want to book 2 comedians, use your name, and I'll pay them. And he was like, oh, yeah, okay.
like, I'm in. Let's do this. So, getting drunk at the zoo.
Getting drunk at the zoo.
So last time you got drunk at a zoo, at least that I know of,
That was the last time.
I was there playing.
That was a wild time.
Yeah. What was that called? Wine walk?
Yeah, the wine walk. KC Zoo Wine Walk.
Zoo walk.
Yeah.
Zoo wine walk.
Wine walk.
Wine
at the
walk.
zoo.
There we go. I played it. Don't even know the name. And so, like, for people listening, like, I'm playing the show, and it's basically people are circling around the zoo.
Yeah.
And they're just drinking free wine. Well, not
Yeah.
free.
It
They
was
paid
like
to get in.
it was like a $45 ticket.
Yeah.
And they had like however many wineries, like more than 40 different wines to try.
Yeah, and you can just keep circling.
Oh yeah,
So
it's like
everyone's
unlimited sampling
lit
until they run
by
out,
the end.
you know.
And I didn't drink during it,
Yeah.
and so
Well, you were working.
Right, and my wife was there, and we had friends there. Everyone's lit, and they're all having fun. And I'm like, this is fun because I'm not having fun. This is great. But then you call me, and you're yelling at me, holding your phone. I just see the glow of your phone. And you're by the goats. I can't see the goats anymore because it's like nighttime at this point. And you
the
are
sun
so
has
happy.
set. There's surprisingly not a lot of lights in that zoo.
I know. I would want more
That
lights.
was kind of shocking. That I was just wandering the zoo in the dark, drunk.
Yeah, midday, people have been mauled by lions, and you got drunk suburbanites and
Like,
urban.
and the goats are just out. Those fences aren't tall. Like, if we wanted to be with those goats, we could have gotten
You could have.
Goats,
Yeah, and
like,
that's not as dangerous, but you could have been maybe the kangaroos.
The
You can walk
kangaroos.
around with them.
I know, there's out. That shocked me a lot.
That shocks, way
the
shocks me.
stingrays that you can pet, they just had that whole thing open.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're letting drunk adults pet your stingrays?
Didn't
This
they
is a
kill
terrible
Steve
idea.
Irwin?
I know, right?
I think they're like, this is fun. Drink up.
You're like,
Pet.
here's
Drink
some
up.
wine.
Pet. Let's do this. Anyway, so I discovered that night your incredible passion for animals, like beyond belief, like to where you educate people during the day when they don't want to be educated just because you're that passionate about it.
Oh, man, yeah.
And you're BFFs with a bunch of the zookeepers.
I'm trying to be.
You're trying to be.
Well, that night I was drunk, so I kind of forced my friendship.
Yeah.
I forced interactions upon them by berating them with questions.
Right.
Because I had access to a zookeeper.
There you go.
And all they were kind of doing was just making sure the drunk people weren't too bad. So I was like, well, I want to learn. I was like, what can you tell me about this bird?
Like, I'm not going to jump in the lion cage. Just answer some questions, okay?
Yeah, like at the Kansas City Zoo, there's like this little, it's like a room. It's like an indoor part. It's real small. It's called like jungle or something.
Okay, I lost my mic.
Oh no, you're right.
It's fallen. I should have a mic clip, but oh, here we go. We'll just keep this in.
There we go.
We'll go here. This is what we learned.
Gaff tape.
Got the gaff
Okay.
tape on my chest.
All right. It's
There
like
we
pro
go.
production stuff.
Yeah, trying. Except for the fact that I just fell. But so I learned this night that you're super passionate. Here, I don't want to mess up the audio.
Oh,
There
you're
we go.
good.
All right, super passionate about animals. Is it in there?
It looks like it. I can see it poking up still. Let's see.
There we go. All right, we're in. And down to like midnight ratings of alpaca farms, and
Yeah.
which Jenny went to an alpaca
Yeah,
farm
I saw that.
this week. She
like
looks
she had a good time.
happier than maybe the day we got married. I think there was pure joy.
There's an alpaca standing next to her instead of you.
Yeah,
What's there to be?
she's like,
that's
it
incredible.
like sniffed me and then licked me. It was the best thing in the world.
That's amazing.
But I found out about your side project,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the thing that survived when you were cutting things out.
Solely
And
a
so tell me
passion
about
project.
your side project.
Yeah, I have an Instagram account called Animal.Budz. Animal.Budz with a Z.
Okay, and I'll put it in the notes too. so.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It started one night. My roommate was and his like girlfriend. They were like getting drunk or something, or like there's some people over, and I just wanted like a quiet moment. And like I was enjoying the people too, but I was like, I gotta get a quiet moment. So I went outside and just like sat on my hammock for a while. And for some reason, like I started thinking about porcupines and how porcupines exist.
How high were you?
Porcupine.
And
This is amazing. I was
and
outside.
how-
I was thinking about a non-native animal.
well, listen,
to
because
the Midwest.
porcupines live in North America, but also they live in Africa, and
Huh.
I was like, how? How? I was thinking about it, I'm like, I want to know how this happened. Like, when did, like, their, whatever, their evolutionary ancestors, like, how did they cross
Right.
over into the new world from the, like, old world is like Europe, Africa, Asia, new world, America, South America. Like, how did porcupines, I assumed they started in the old world, how did they get to the new world?
Exactly.
And so I just was like, wow. And then a few days later, I'm like, I was still thinking about animals. I'm like, what if I just kept learning about animals? Well, because I did a bunch of research. I went back into like all the group that was inside. I was like, y'all got to listen to this. Like, check this out about porcupines. They're like, what are you talking about?
You're like, guys,
But then I'm
sit
like,
down.
but what if people were interested and I could still just tell them things? So I started an Instagram account, and I don't like really actively try to go after followers or whatever. I'm just
Right.
kind of do it for
Just throw it
fun,
out
and
there,
like I tell when I come across people, I tell them about it, and they can follow me if they want. And it's fun because I host a lot of bands, stay the night at my house, and it's
Yeah.
fun to see like the band accounts like follow me and stuff. Like,
It's like
I'll
he's
tell
got
them
a
about
big
it.
following of like artists
Yeah.
who are
Yeah,
really
right.
into animals, I guess. So.
Yeah, it's like an hour after they leave my house for the day. Like, they're like, oh, thanks for letting us stay. Like, they get on the road, and like an hour later, it's like, oh, so-and-so followed you. It's like, awesome.
When I remember tagging you, I was like, no way you've seen this yet. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm friends with someone on that account.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Yeah, he's all over the place. So Animal.Budz,
Yeah,
it's
it's
legit.
just fun. I just like, it's just, I'll just have an animal catch my fancy, and I'll just be like, well, let's learn about it. So I've been making a point to try to go as many zoos as possible. I don't travel often. I don't get out of Kansas City super often.
A little busy
But
still.
I've gone around the Midwest a few times. My best friend, she's a educator for like hair stuff, and so she travels a lot of the Midwest, and her company pays for her mileage and her hotels. So I'm just kind of like,
Perfect.
well, I don't have to work. Like, what
you
if
go.
I also go, and while you're teaching, I'll just go to the zoo.
Winning.
And then I'll I'll drop you off for work, and I'll go to the zoo, and I'll come pick you up when you're done. Like,
It's a win-win.
or like sometimes she's like, well, I get off at like noon. Like, let's go to the zoo after. I'm like, okay. So
She
like,
has a
I've been
built-in
going to like
Uber that takes her to zoos.
yeah, I've been like going to a lot of zoos lately, and I'll be like, just loving it. Just
Yeah.
like, I don't know, it's fun. Just like, it's hard because like you don't want to like zoos because like animals in captivity is
That's true.
bad, but at the same time, like, when am I ever gonna see like this sun bear
Right.
that I saw in Topeka? Like, oh my gosh.
I can see the conflict. in
Yeah.
that. It's different
Yeah.
than a circus, though, where there is a lot of like blatant
Yeah.
abuse. Where
Right, like they're being
it seems like a
trained for
lot of zoos
shit,
are,
yeah.
are focused on conservation.
Yeah, and a lot of
understanding
zoos I think
education.
do support a lot of conservation. Like, actually, that's something I actually learned at the wine walk.
Okay.
Is the
And you
Kansas City
remembered
Zoo
it.
has
That's
like an
impressive.
extensive brown hyena like conservation program.
Okay.
And it's like one zookeeper or something that works there. Like, he takes like, he goes out to Africa a couple times a year, like Tunisia, and just like, he was telling us all about it at
Wow.
wine walk. He was like so into it, which is awesome. And he was like,
You're like,
yeah,
you
just like,
and I should hang out more.
yeah, he's like, whatever country, he's mentioned like specific, like the very specific place that he usually hangs out at. And it's like this old abandoned like German colonial village, like
Yeah.
when like Europe was colonizing Africa, because that shit. And so
'Cause
it's like
of
this old like abandoned
all of
like German
colonization.
village like in Africa. But apparently they have like really rich like diamond content in their like soil and the sand. So it's like literally punishable by like death or something to like disrupt their environment.
Okay.
He said some fact. He was like, if you murder somebody, you get like 8 years in prison. But if you like take a handful of sand, you like get life or something. He
Wow.
said some crazy thing.
They got the priorities.
So anyway, pristine conditions for animal stuff.
Yeah.
So he like hangs out. He's telling us all about it. He like hangs out in the desert at night, just like hunched down, like
With
still.
hyenas?
Well, the thing was, he's like, yeah, people don't like it, but it's pitch black. You can't see anything around you. The stars are gorgeous. He's like, sometimes the snakes will crawl right over you. And I'm like, okay,
I
bud.
like animals.
I think I'm like, you're a little crazy, but I respect you. But he was like, yeah, I just wait for a hyena to come along, and we dart them, we tag them real quick, we track them, we check their vitals, make sure they're healthy, do all
Yeah.
this science stuff, and they wake up and they go on their way. And then like a couple years later, we come back and collect the tag off
Kinda
of them
study what
and
they've
call
been
it
doing.
good. Yeah.
Nice.
But he was so into it anyway. Yeah. So a lot of zoos
So you found
do
a
like
BFFs.
do conservation stuff, and I think that's cool. But it's just a little sad. But I enjoy it.
Well, thinking about, we've
dived into like Sofar, the environments, all these things that are kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I think as artists, especially thinking of like artist to promoter, we often just see that as like this business transaction.
Right.
All too often, I think artists see it that way.
Yeah.
Instead of understanding what's behind it, which I think is really cool.
Right.
But what fascinates me and what I'm on a constant quest for is one reason I'm doing this video podcast.
Yeah.
Is discovering what does it look like to live a great life? What does it look
Yeah.
like to create great things? Because it seems like whether we would articulate it the same way, almost everyone's on that kind of quest. And so diving in a little deeper into that stuff, for you, what does it mean? Like, how would you define living a great life for you personally?
Yeah. I just think you have to find the things that like truly fulfill you and make you happy. Like I've, like shows, being in a great like communal environment with live music, like at the epicenter of everything. That's where I find like joy and happiness and like peace and comfort. And I think that takes, any shape or form for any number of people.
Right.
That's like, it's so incredibly unique for every individual person. Like that thing that centers them and like kind of rebalances everything and makes everything okay, even if it's just for the 3 hours that show is happening. Like I'm only here from 7 to 10, but those are the 3 hours where I'm going to feel good. Like everything's great.
Like everything could be shit around
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
But those 3
Yeah.
hours, man, you gave me something special.
And I think you just have to kind of find those, and that you treat that as your vice, because you don't want to go down a dark rabbit hole of anything else that makes you feel good. You know
Right.
what I mean? But you just find
like
that thing
shows
that, like,
beneficial.
Yeah, and like, yeah, exactly, right? Right. Think about your teeth. Come on. You want to keep them? But so, like even like times where I'm feeling like bummed or sad or it's like, oh, I had a shitty day. Like, everything's like crashing around me. I'm like, what show can I go to? Like, is there anything happening tonight? Is there anything like tomorrow that I can go to? Like, what's like a cool event that I can go and just be at and be a part of and just rebalance.
Yeah.
And like I said, that could be any number of things for any number of people. But I think being happy is recognizing that and then allowing yourself to have that. Treat it like your vice, and it's okay because your vice is going to keep you going. It's just like give in to your vices when they're healthy like that.
Yeah, I like that idea where
Like,
it's
let
it's
yourself
like all
go
of
to
us
the
have
show.
a vice.
It's like I have 20 emails to get to. Go to the show.
Right.
Like, go do the thing that's going to make you happy. Yeah, those emails might be important, but they're also still going to be there tomorrow.
Well,
or even like the next day. Like
what I
whenever you have
find
time
too,
to get back to them.
you'll be able to pursue even that better in the end. I was writing and writing and writing. I was in this phase of just kicking out song after song.
Yeah.
And I called a producer I was working with. I was like, bro, I hate it. Everything's shit, blah, blah. I'm going. And he's like, dude, stop writing. Go get your kids, go to the playground, and don't think about music. Like even though that music brings me joy, but he knew like I was sucking all the joy out of it.
Yeah.
And me being able to do that allowed me eventually to come back to my writing in a fresh way too. So
Exactly.
it's like
you just
finding
have to
that
give
joy.
in to those things and let yourself. You have to like be kind of forgiving and let yourself slip on some stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, not all the time, but like I said, like those emails are still going to be there. Like,
Right.
reading them right now is not going to help you, in 2 days if you still don't intend to respond for 2 days. So just like let it go. Like,
So
it
if-
sucks, but like it's okay. Like
If you're
everything's
gonna-
okay.
If you're gonna create like a meme, right? Because everything is graphics and memes and everything right now. So if you're gonna create that meme about what a great life is, how would you boil that down?
Yikes, that's a toughie.
Because I love what you're saying. I'm wondering what it looks like for you to really like.
Yeah, it would honestly,
Boil it down.
as I feel like this is kind of like a low-hanging fruit, but that meme where the guy and the girl are walking down the street and then he like looks behind him because like the other girl passes. It'd be like something like that, and like it'd be like a show, and the other like the girlfriend or whatever is perceived in that image.
Right.
Like the girl passing the street would be like the show, and the other one would be like all the work you've been neglecting for a week. And I'm just like, oh, but
He's
the
like,
show.
looking around. I love it, man. That's awesome.
So like that's an easy meme, but still, it's just kind of like like realistically, like you have to let yourself enjoy the things you enjoy, and you have to do it to keep yourself sane. Like,
I dig
I
that.
don't know.
Man.
You only have yourself, really, like up in your head. So I think a lot of people struggle with a lot of things, and it's hard to rely on people consistently a lot. So you just kind of have to learn how to kind of be okay with yourself and just find those things, those healthy habits that make you happy.
Yeah.
And stick with them. Just
Absolutely.
let yourself enjoy it. That's what I've been doing, and that's been helping me.
And let yourself. And it seems like
Yeah.
when this becomes our business, it is.
Yeah,
hard.
that's why
Like
I
I was
kind of
saying,
took
I
a
was like,
slump in the summer, which
hated
is fine.
songwriting when it used to be my passion and my
Yeah.
sanity, and then I suddenly hated it.
Like I like going to shows and I like booking shows, but like I can't book a ton of shows and then like going to a bunch of shows at the same time. Like I have to find the balance, but like, you know, I'm finding time to let myself enjoy just going to a show that
Yeah.
I'm not responsible for. No part of this thing am I responsible for.
Do you catch yourself in the show, like looking around, like
Sometimes, especially
is someone
here,
going to take care of
especially
that?
at the
Someone going to
Rhino.
take care of that?
Because, you know, like I always run my own shows at the Rhino, and if it's not my show, everyone does an incredible job here. I don't want that to be like a misconception. Everyone does incredible, but there's sometimes where I'm like, oh man, like what about this? It's like, oh, this guy, like, oh my gosh, and it's like, it's not my show. It's okay. Everything's fine.
Now, this might tie in with it, but what does it mean for you to create great things?
Again, I just kind of want to bring it back to the community, just like the people that, like I said, the strangers even that I don't know, but still come out to experience these like live things, like live music and stuff. I get joy in creating stuff that other people enjoy. Because all my stuff is behind the scenes, you know what I mean? I'm not a showman. I'm not a musician. I don't perform. I sit behind a computer and orchestrate.
Send a lot of emails.
Yeah, I orchestrate. And so my whole thing, like, I want to create an event that people are excited to come to, and I want to create something that gets people, like, you know, there are people like me who find that comfort and that balance and that peace coming to live music.
Right.
You know, I know there's people like that out there. And I want to kind of create the kinds of events that they can come to and have that experience. So that's where I find like joy in creating. Like I want to create a peaceful night for somebody. Like I want somebody to come out and have just like a good time. Just like
awesome.
good old fashioned fun, you know? Like that was cool. So
That's a win,
that's
man.
like, yeah, that's where my joy is coming from. When I have like a good show and people are happy, I'm happy.
That's awesome.
So,
Well, I love it, man. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for what you do.
yeah.
Makes artists like me have a great time as well.
No, it's great 'cause I get
meeting
to
people
meet-
like you to do
Yeah.
cool stuff.
no, I get to
So,
meet cool people too. It's awesome. Like that's another fun thing. So it works out for both of us.
winning. Well, let people know where they can find you, including Animal.Budz.
Yeah, everything fine dining is at finediningproductions.com. No funny spellings, finediningproductions.com. All my social there is Fine Dining Prod. Personal, everything's C3 Stevie. And then, of course, Animal.Budz with a Z. If you like animal facts.
And the stories can get really fun.
Yeah.
They can.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I like going to zoos and posting stuff. You know, actually, I do weird animal tournaments every so often, just voting, like, what's weirder, this animal or this animal? Vote. And it's like bracket-style tournament. I've done a couple. I'm about to do one about marine life.
Nice.
Something I have on my to-do list today is
So maybe people can jump
identify
on that.
32 very strange marine life
I
animals.
love that's on your to-do list.
So,
That's amazing.
I can't wait to start that tournament. So.
Well, awesome. Thanks for making the time, man.
Dude,
I
thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. This is great.
The Live and Create podcast.